Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, and Alex, I really thought it was the day that we were going to have, I thought for some reason Will was going to come to the morning show. I do believe he's back to his regularly scheduled content creation today, but that would mean that he'll be here for After Dark. That would mean he'll be here for After Dark. Today is Wednesday, which means later tonight we'll have Rise Up After Dark, the place for expert guest interviews, commentary as we let our hair down. But today, this morning, it's Web3 101 Wednesday. If you are curious or concerned about cryptocurrency, maybe you're a newer user, then this is the place for you to ask your crypto question. Alex and I have been here for a while. We really are very proud of the community we've cultivated of learners at all levels of experience who are our friends and waiting to be your friends. People who can help you with every question from why does Bitcoin have value to is it really that bad for the environment? And we got answers. And when we don't have answers, we got friends who can help us out. So leave us your questions in the comments and then be sure to join the Discord server. The Rise Up Discord is totally free to join, and it is the place to connect with the show 24/7, ask a question, get a second look at something you think might be a scam, yada, 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 yada. And we would love to see you there. The only thing missing is you. And you can become a premium member in the Discord server to get access to even more stuff, discounts for all the paid services. And I wanted to tell you that because the prices are going up in 2 days. You can sign up for a free trial for 7 days, check it out, drive everything, see if it's for you or not. Maybe come to office hours to hang out with me on Friday, or get one of Alex's PDF guides for free. But you don't have to spend $1 to learn with us. We just want to see you there so that you are in a community. That's the best way to learn crypto. It's the best way to stay safe. I said like 3 times. Sorry. It is so cold. Can you see my breath?
No.
I am breathing
coffee steam.
I'm breathing, man. I'm breathing steam today. It snowed like little snow here, like probably 3 or 4 inches, but I'm just loving it. It's truly thrilling.
65 and sunny yesterday. It's kind of in that like little gloomy in between where it can't quite decide if it wants to do spring or not.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Oh, we got a good question. Number 1, what's the deal with World Liberty Financial? They have 683 million tokens left. And the answer to that is those tokens have plans. They've been spoke for. And I don't know if you'll beat me to it, Alex, but I'm racing to pull up tokenomics for, you probably will beat me because, the hamster gets to spinning for World Liberty Financial. Essentially, these tokens, for people who don't know, cryptocurrency tokens, the only place they live is on a record called a blockchain. That's it. There is a person who orders them, so to speak, who programs them into a bit of code, and that's where they live. And they are subject to certain rules about how and when they will be released, which just means assigned to owners of accounts on a blockchain. These tokens are assigned to the World Liberty Financial account until a certain point in time happens. They will be, we say, unlocked, which means they might become available for purchase. It means they might be distributed to people who participate in the governance of the platform. In the case of World Liberty Financial tokens, they are specifically governance tokens. This is common in the DeFi space. A similar model you might look to would be Aave, how they distributed their tokens, or perhaps even Uniswap. They didn't airdrop though. But the team is usually allocated a portion. Early venture funders are usually allocated a portion. And in the case of World Liberty Financial, they allocated 20% initially to a pre-sale to accredited investors. You had to be a millionaire and registered with the SEC to participate in the sale. And then they said, whoa. We'll give you 5% more. So 25% of the tokens have been sold, but that is all they planned to sell at this time. Alex, I don't know. Do you have a breakdown for us with a visual of what those numbers are?
No, I could probably find.
Don't fret about
grabbing the Arkham profile for.
That'll be even better. I do know that at least like 20 or 30% are allocated for the team and early supporters. I think like 10% are allocated for governance. It's something you can look up by searching World Liberty Financial Tokenomics. It'll be on their website. They'll talk about their plan for distribution of the tokens. And that's one of the things that might make you say, this is a really good deal, or this is a really bad deal. So that's a good question. What are we looking at, Al?
So this is a profile on a website called Arkham Finance, which is just like another way to explore the blockchain. So you can't directly like look at a blockchain without using some sort of intermediary, and those are called blockchain explorers. There's a shitload of them, and there are also other services like Arkham that do the same thing but organize the data differently and provide more visual references and aids to help you understand what it is that you're looking at instead of just looking at a giant sheet of transactions and whatnot. So World Liberty Financial's DeFi holdings, or their other crypto holdings besides their own token, are obviously being tracked by lots of different people on chain. Everyone's very curious to see what they're holding and what they're buying. All of this should be taken with a grain of salt, just because they've also published a piece basically saying that they will buy anybody's token who pays them $10 million. So just consider that there are other reasons that they could be buying things. It's not exclusively like we have plans to integrate this, or we are definitely going to, I don't know, manipulate this price up or something like that. It could just be that someone is trying to get exposure, do marketing deal, get promotion and notoriety by being held by World Liberty Financial. So the deal is that if anyone wants to buy $10 million worth of World Liberty Financial tokens, World Liberty Financial will buy $10 million worth of their token, and all it costs them is a $100,000 fee to do that. So it's a good thing to keep an eye on, but just, grain of salt when you look at it.
Can you confirm, has Donald Trump tweeted anything about XRP this morning? We had an XRP question.
No, not specifically. He reposted an article that included something from CoinDesk earlier.
Okay.
Or late last night, and it just, it didn't do anything to the price chart, which isn't surprising given where we are right now. And there's lots of moon boy comments on the article post.
If somebody wanted to see this World Liberty Finance dashboard on Arkham and explore everything here for themselves, what's the URL they could visit?
This is intel.arkm.com. And then you can search for World Liberty Financial. But intel.arkham.com is their explorer. And then there's a whole bunch of different profiles. This is not like just for them, but there's a whole bunch of different, famous wallets or wallets of note that you can check out.
Yeah, it's kind of fun actually, and it's, I think, a nicer, easier to read thing than most blockchain explorers. That's my opinion there.
It's a good place to get the basics down. Like understand what kind of data can be found on an explorer, and then learn how to get it more and more yourself.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Good morning, everybody who's just joining us. Today is Web3 101 Wednesday. We would love to have your question or your best tip, trick, word of wisdom for somebody who is just dipping their toes or thinking about dipping their toes into the wild and wonderful world of Web3. Somebody says, I thought it was maybe your Jordan at first, that I think Alex secretly wants to launch a meme coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know what? That's pretty fair. I've been rather vague in my language describing creator-led meme coins in the past, so I could see where people might think that.
Yeah. Alex, can we talk
for
to
anyone
Jay
who
Heath?
just saw that for the first time? That was heavy sarcasm. It just occurred to me. Don't come for me.
Anybody who doesn't know Alex, you're in for a treat.
I will absolutely die
about meme coins.
Time.
Yeah. So, okay. Can we talk a little about, Jay Heath had a really good question about bots. I have learned that bots literally keep the market and at certain prices by buying and selling on certain triggers. I feel like this is maybe easiest to demonstrate on a meme coin. If you wanted to see maybe you can pull up a deck screener page really quick. Am I missing any other questions? I think we're caught up though. And while Alex pulls it up, another good question: are all the new Bitcoin ETFs going to have a negative or positive impact on the price? Well, they make Bitcoin more available to more people who couldn't otherwise buy it, and that directly impacts the price of Bitcoin. They're not pegged one-to-one to Bitcoin tokens, but they are an instrument that is backed by Bitcoin that people can buy, that They buy from institutions. Those institutions have to have a certain amount of Bitcoin on hand to cover the demand for the ETF. So it does, in an indirect way, impact the price of Bitcoin. And the other thing is, it really only impacts Bitcoin or Ether or whatever ETF they're buying, because unlike cryptocurrency, where it's easy for me to swap my Bitcoin tokens for Binance tokens or Solana tokens or USDC or whatever, it's not easy to convert a Bitcoin ETF into another cryptocurrency. So it has a tremendous effect on the Bitcoin market, but not really anything else in crypto. Oh my God. Somebody just asked us thoughts on the Pi network launching tomorrow.
Not ideal.
Alex, do you have any thoughts on it?
Just, we'll see what happens. I'm not holding my breath. They are, as far as I'm aware, and I'm very open to being corrected. In fact, I've been trying to figure this out for myself. So if someone has some insight, please let me know. As far as I can tell, there is basically like nothing launching with it. It's just going to mainnet, but there's not like a rich app ecosystem and a bunch of devs who are like ready to put things up there and a grants program to bring builders over there, or like any user. I've heard nothing, including from all the people who shill me Pi all the time, about like why we're excited, except to finally be able to sell their Pi tokens. And that should make all of you worried, because the price, go look at the Pengu price chart. That's what Pi's price chart is going to look like, which is, it's going to launch at a certain valuation, whatever. The only people interested in volume are going to be selling. There will be buys. There are always buys. I'm trying to find an example of like heavily botted buys right now on memes, but these things are so spread out that they basically all look the same. I'll pull it up in a second. So no, I don't really have any. I'm not worried about. I'm not like excited about Pi. I think that it's going to be a flop.
I'm kind of unexcited about it, and for people who haven't seen this before, who are curious, who are thinking, oh, I think Pi is a good deal. Pi is, in our space, among people who've been here for a minute, it's regarded as a long con, a scam. It's not necessarily a turn your dollars into nothing machine, because you don't buy it, but it for many years has been an illiquid, untradeable token. People say, well, before Bitcoin was big, nobody really accepted it. No. Here's the thing, is at any time since the inception of Bitcoin, anybody who accepted Bitcoin would gladly take your cash for it, and vice versa. And the network of people who accepted it grew all the time, and people built pots of money called liquidity pools that folks could trade their dollars for Bitcoin in. Nobody has built that for Pi yet, and they have delayed the launching of this mainnet. Like Alex said, nobody is really building anything else there. It doesn't seem to be a smart contract platform. And unlike Bitcoin, where the tokens are scarce and very difficult to obtain or acquire, they're expensive to get, Pi is easy to get. Anybody, anywhere can get on their phone and click it and get some Pi tokens. And there are many, many, many of them. So there's really no scarcity for them. There's no demand for them except from people who already have them. And there's no incentive to get them to use them to do anything with. Bitcoin tokens pay for gas on the Bitcoin network. You can pay a lot of people around the world. Millions and millions of people will accept Bitcoin for all kinds of things. And it's a store of value. But Pi doesn't demonstrate any of that utility. So unless and until it does, what I'm expecting to happen is that mainnet will go live. Maybe they'll provide liquidity. I haven't seen any plans to do that, but somebody probably will. And then everybody else who's been waiting to turn their Pi into dollars will sell. And what that will do to the price of Pi is it will just, like Alex said about Pengu, the chart looks like this, where the token price went down. And that's what's going to happen to Pi. And there's no incentive for people who can just get more of it by tapping their phone to go buy it. So I think it's a scam that's mostly designed to appeal to people who don't understand how cryptocurrency actually works, why Bitcoin might have value. And if you're struggling to understand why Bitcoin has value, then you're in the right place. We can talk more about it. But, I'm not holding my breath. I think it goes live tomorrow, Alex. I am kind of interested to see what happens. Just because
I'm trying to find just like any indication of anyone building anything. over
I
there.
have
And
seen
really,
that they have conferences where people get together who accept Pi for their goods and services, like Pi festivals, because they have a big
Mhm.
network of users,
They do.
people who collect it.
Yep.
But it doesn't
The-
seem to get out of that
yeah,
circle.
the problem is collecting for what? Collecting to sell tomorrow is why people are collecting it. So unless there's a reason for people to buy equally, it's gonna. Now, to be fair, let's assume the best. Assume that it does get a rich ecosystem and lots of users show up there and things start getting built over there and all of these different things. All of the wildest dreams come true. You should still probably not buy it tomorrow.
No, don't buy
Like,
it.
you should expect that the price chart will do what every
Absolutely.
major airdrop does, which is crater, because all these people who want to realize reward and profit for their efforts or their time or their commitments or whatever over the years, they will be looking to sell and get out of there, because plenty of people have no interest in being there for anything other than the day one payday. So, keep an eye on it. Apparently the price is down 42% in 24 hours.
Yeah, I heard that it
on the
bumped
IOUs
and went down.
Yep. Which again, extreme volatility in and around a major event like this, super expected. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see. That's the only thing I see. I see nothing that like makes me think that anyone is ready to do anything other than sell and trade this thing on exchanges. All of the articles about like what to expect are just all about node migration. Millions of people have completed the KYC, and you can sell it on a few different exchanges. It may be listed on OKX and Binance. And then it'll, so I don't know. My expectation is that it will be attractive and it will be, popular for about 6 hours, because that's about the attention span of the industry right now. And then everyone will just be like, when Moon? And then we'll all be disappointed that it doesn't work like that. And then it will fade into obsolescence along with all the other networks that have no builders and no users.
And that's just bullshit.
But we'll see. I could be wrong. I think it's a waste of your time.
You could be, but I could, I don't think you are. I think Pi, somebody asked, why do they do it? Pi extracts valuable data from people for the promise of future reward. They get your name, they get your email, they get all this information about you, your geolocation, your tapping data, your wake and asleep habits, and all of that is stuff that they can sell. Plus, they can probably use their website as advertising space. I would imagine they make a lot of money, or at least enough to keep running the operation without having to deliver anything. We had another really good question, but first I want to address this comment, Alex, about imitators. If you see somebody who looks like Alex or somebody who looks like me on social media, they're not us. Nobody legitimate, especially us, is ever going to reach out to you directly, personally, to check on you, offer investment advice, try and get you to spend money with us, or bring you to Telegram or WhatsApp. Those people are scammers. They're always scammers. And these are our only profiles. Wherever you're watching the Rise Up Morning Show right now, those are our social media pages. And you can find the others at theriseupmorningshow.com. All of our official show handles and our individual handles, because there are lots of imitators out there. Some of them have thousands of followers, but they're not us. So sorry you have to deal with that. We block them every single day, and they just keep coming. Every single platform. I even have imitators on Instagram where I never post, crap, but somehow they know who we are. It's the price of being famous on a very small part of the internet where you talk about finance. So stay safe, my friends. Okay, we had another good question about suggesting decentralized wallets for people in Australia or New Zealand. Please. Thank you very much for the question. So palatable. Alex, I don't know that geolocation changes my recommendation for a cold wallet specifically, but
No.
You might want to look up wallets that work in and then your city or town, crypto wallets that work in New Zealand. And I would start with the big ones. I'd look for Binance first, Coinbase, probably OKX or something like that, maybe Mexi or BitCat. And then if you wanted a cold storage wallet, I think all the regulars will work. Arculus, Ledger, Trezor,
Sure looks like it.
Tangem. Does it? You got a confirmation?
Yep. And then big exchanges: KuCoin, BitGet, Binance, Kraken, SwiftX. Yeah, Trezor wallets, Ledger wallets, all the normal software wallets. Yeah, it looks like it's pretty much exactly, the usual suspects.
Got it. Where did you search to find that, Alex?
I literally just Googled it. I just
Got it.
Googled crypto wallets, Australia, New Zealand. And there's just a whole bunch of Reddit posts and different forum posts, social media posts about comparing notes about which wallets people use in whatever country. I mean, it's really the secret sauce. People like, I want to encourage you to search for things, and then the skill to learn is to just be critical of the information that you find. So you can definitely get some pretty good answers from ChatGPT, for example, if you're doing like basic terms and definitions. If you have an article that someone wrote about a cryptocurrency and you're trying to decipher it, copy paste it and send it to ChatGPT and say, tell this back to me with no jargon, or explain to me what these words mean, or I don't know what these words are. You would be amazed at how many things people have asked me in comments that I don't know, and I just Google, and it's one hit down the page. And I don't say that to like, it's very hard to say that without making it sound like I'm making fun of someone for not knowing that Google exists. But I think people just, they believe wholeheartedly that this stuff is like way too complicated for them to just find by themselves. And it's really, truly not. Like, I barely had any teachers. I figured all of this stuff out by myself, and I'm no different than anyone else who wanted to learn about it. The only skill that I possessed is that I am good at Googling stuff. And, you can be bad at it. You could just search like crypto wallets and hope that you land on something with Australia. You can refine the search. And I've actually done videos about how to Google more effectively. But you'd be amazed at how many things you can just find if you just look.
I do think that
just be critical of the information you get.
I think that's a killer tip, because there is this sort of, I think people encounter a lot of new words here. Alex's tip is always learn the jargon. You encounter a lot of new words, a lot of new concepts. Things look similar but different to anything you've ever encountered on the internet before. And I think there's a lot of mystification about cryptocurrency that makes people think it's harder than it is. So definitely there is this culture of like self-doubt of I'm not smart enough to understand, of if I make a mistake, I'm going to lose all my money. That comes from the gambling nature of the space, but also the perceived technical nature of the space. So, like Alex says, learn the jargon. You are welcome here. And just click stuff. You're not going to break stuff. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to click around on the Blockchain Explorer, to come to the Rise Up Morning Show, to join the Discord community, to go to coinbase.com/learn and start reading, start poking around. It absolutely doesn't have to be a speculative, dangerous, scary thing. Most of the time, nothing, if you choose not to engage with a thing, it just can't hurt you. Whether it's a scammer, a scam token, a bad investment deal, just by not doing it, then you'll be fine. I've learned more in the past week about crypto than I ever have. Thanks for infesting my we got to get a different word. I don't know that I want to be the feed infestors. But I don't know. Devenzo is asking us if we can analyze and explain the document that you give in ChatGPT. And I'm not entirely sure, Devenzo, what document you mean. Can you elaborate? Thank you. Use this little prompt. You know what he's talking about, Alex?
No.
We have a question from Emily and Mia while Devenzo clarifies. Alex, where can you see ETH shorts?
Yeah, you should be able to find those on TradingView. Let me look.
You have blessed my feed is the change from infested. The feed infestors or the feed blessers. I don't know if it's a or if it's a. John Piazza asked while Alex is looking that up. Can scammers use your Discord to step in as one of you? No, they can never take over our accounts, but they can also impersonate us in Discord. And in fact, when you join the Discord, you will almost certainly get a message from somebody who looks like me or Alex or Will or Tori or Joe or one of the other admins or moderators in our server that is, hi, how are you? I'm just checking on my members or something like that. It's not us. We're never going to check in on our members in a personal private DM. Sounds cool. They want you to feel exclusive, but we do it in public to keep you safe. Got a word on TradingView?
I'm not really much of a TradingView maxi. So
I was going to say this is where we need Will, because I have absolutely no idea where I would go.
What I'm finding is that the shorts are at record highs right now, which is leading to a lot of short squeeze speculation. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Somebody asked about like Solana. They said, I'm holding Solana for the long term, but should I sell? Because I hear there's going to be an unlock. I think there's a lot of short sentiment, which, honestly makes me, maybe I'm foolish, but makes me a little excited.
Here we go. There's, again, here's a chart from Coinalyze, which I've never heard of. That's got the long and short ratios for ETH.
Okay, hold tight.
Not sure. This also looks like a TradingView grab. Let's see. I don't know if this is exactly what I want.
Yeah. Long and short ratio. I don't know that tells you how many shorts there are. It'll just tell you how many people are shorting versus longing. Okay.
But
this is on Bitfinex specifically.
Not what I want.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where's I was just looking at one. Okay. Here is just an article that I stumbled upon from this morning. Just basically discussing here. This is like the chart I was looking for, but I don't know where they're getting this from. Anyway, this is kind of the graph that I was hoping to find here. So there's currently $11.3 billion in short positions on Ethereum right now, which is the highest ever? Question mark?
Question mark? Right. Somebody asked, can't you see it on Coinbase Advanced? You probably can, but here's the thing about Coinbase Advanced or Bitfinex or anywhere. They're going to show you the shorts on their platform. I did see a link, Alex, like 3 below for CoinGlass, which I think is like a glass node that said derivatives data. That wasn't helpful?
I didn't look at that one yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we are firmly outside of my wheelhouse here, just for the record.
Honestly, mine too. It'd take me a minute to figure it out
right now.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if CoinGlass has. I bet this is going to tell us, generally speaking,
so this
long, short, 1 hour rect.
They want me to pay for that.
Okay, but look at this dashboard. Tells us a lot already. So we can see on Binance, on OKX, on Binance, ETHUSD, you can see the long to short ratio. More people, according to this chart, it appears, are long than short. In the last hour, it looks like longs got wrecked, shorts. I can't tell if that's how many people total got wrecked, and then it's some of them were long, some of them were short. It looks like it based on the math. Yeah. Looks like a lot of shorts got wrecked in the last 12 hours. It's interesting. Volume for options on Ethereum, $34 billion. That means all the long and short orders taken out, total $34 billion. And if you look over time, it looks like right now, compared to the last 3 months, there were a lot more. And I think the green means longs, and I think the reds means shorts. Oh, I waited. Open interest? I'm not sure.
And it checks out that some shorts just got squeezed out because Ethereum is up like 3% this week. So if they were super aggressive, then that could be enough to stop somebody out. There's a couple things that are just wild on the week. Like Litecoin is up almost 18% this week.
Yeah, I got a message right before we went live from our friend Nick Johnson who said Litecoin's at 135. The bull run's about to start. Some people believe that every 4 years that Litecoin kicks off a bull run for crypto where all the other tokens just follow it as it floats right to the top.
But to be fair, it's been at 135 since December, so it doesn't really mean anything.
I see. Joe has a really good question here about the ETFs. What are they? Why would you do it? How do you do it? And the answer is it's probably simpler than you think.
Yep.
If you already use something like Fidelity to manage your 401k, your IRA, whoever your personal provider or your financial planner is going to be the person or place you go to buy a Bitcoin ETF. And you would select it like any other piece of your portfolio, your index funds, your stocks, your options, your treasury bonds. The different custodians of the Bitcoin ETF, Fidelity, iShares, Grayscale, BlackRock, they will work with your institution. You can usually pick one that works for you in that interface where you go to pick what comprises your portfolio. Alex, would you add anything to the what and how? Or
I'll be
do you
honest.
want to take the why?
Oh, well, the why, yeah, for sure. The why is usually just for tax purposes. Or like Evan said, you're already buying and selling through a brokerage account at a firm that you trust and have used before and would like to continue to use. And most of them have at least some sort of an option now. But the biggest, at least for me, the reason that I personally, even though I'm very capable of custodying my own Bitcoin, do hold some of my Roth IRA account in one of the Bitcoin spot ETFs is so that I can avoid paying some taxes on the profits there. I've been, ever since they opened, I've been averaging in with the same amount that I put into my Roth regularly, and it's up significantly, and that's pre-tax money in a Roth IRA. So you pay taxes on the money before you put it into the Roth IRA, which means that anything that happens to it inside of the confines of that account, between when you deposit and when you are able to start withdrawals, is tax-free. So that's why I use it like that. And that's what a lot of people use it for.
Tell me why.
You might also choose to use it because you just don't want to mess around with Bitcoin on chain. The idea of buying cryptocurrency as in its native form is like scary or intimidating to you. You don't want to be your own custodian. You are familiar and set up to invest the other way, and that's totally fine. I think it depends on your situation and your needs, but it shouldn't be terribly difficult. And if you want to know which one to pick, some of them do have lower funds than others. Every ETF has a fund, like for them to be the custodians of this stuff. And I think iShares Trust has the lowest fees. But if you just Google Bitcoin ETF fees, you'll certainly find a chart in like 2 or 3 minutes to see what the fees you pay on your ETF are, and you're buying the same product. And maybe you trust one custodian more than another, but Coinbase, fun fact, holds the Bitcoin for pretty much all of the ETF custodians. They are the number one custodian of Bitcoin in the world. They hold more Bitcoin, institutionally speaking, than anybody. And a lot of it is not theirs. Kind of like BlackRock. You know, everyone's always like, BlackRock, they have a bunch of money. Well, no. They custody a bunch of money for you. They have responsibility for it, but they don't just get to go spend it how they want. And speaking of BlackRock, Alex, somebody asked, can you explain the relationship between BlackRock and Ondo? And the answer is yes, absolutely, I can. I have given this explanation so often that I have notes for it. But let me tell you, the other company you need to understand is called Securitize. Were you going to answer a question on the way? Sounded like you were going to bump something.
I'm in the chat. All good.
I'm in the chat. Okay. The three companies you need to understand are BlackRock, Ondo, and Securitize. And the way that they work in conjunction with each other is that Ondo, well, let's start with BlackRock. Let me find my spot. This is a play in the niche of crypto called real world assets. And we had a question a second ago that somebody asked, like, are meme coins going down because people are flying to real world assets? And I just want to address that first to say, I think there's some myth being perpetuated by other creators or influencers or people you listen to on the internet that, like, because meme tokens are going down, or people are buying utility coins, or people are buying things that do stuff, and that's why meme coins are going down, because they're flocking to real world assets. But no, not really. Like, the money that's been investing in real world assets, been investing in Bitcoin, is very different from the money that's been investing in meme tokens. Meme tokens are going down because people are acting criminally and
People are
tanking
sick
the
of
price.
crime.
Yeah, people are sick of crime, or people are perpetuating crime. The never the twain shall meet. There are some people who buy meme coins, who buy RWA cryptos, but it's not a one-to-one thing. And most of the crypto tokens that people you hear online talking about with utility, the utility doesn't really exist yet. It may exist someday, but Ondo stands out as a stark example of actual utility. I would say Ondo is a crypto token whose price reflects the value it provides. So BlackRock, go ahead.
No. I don't want to keep going.
I'll be very quick. 30 seconds. BlackRock is the world's largest asset manager. They
counting.
oversee trillions of dollars in assets. And in March 2024, they introduced BUIDL, BUIDL, which is a nod to how crypto people say build. It's a tokenized money market fund. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, has been interested in tokenizing assets, bringing them on chain. That gives them more velocity. People around the world with an internet connection can pay him money to get these assets, and it benefits him, the custodian. So they launched this on the Ethereum blockchain, the number one choice for people who are private financiers around the world, or private companies. Securitize, the other company I said you need to know, is a platform that specializes in the actual process of tokenizing real world assets, creating the link between, your piece of chocolate and the token that represents it in a way that is compliant with current legal frameworks. So they partner with BlackRock to do the actual tokenization of the assets in the BUIDL fund so that it can be represented on multiple blockchain networks. Fun fact about Securitize, I know I'm going over my time, is that Paul Atkins, the supposed to be incoming chair of the SEC, is on the board at Securitize. He's a blockchain OG. Good news for us. And Ondo, where does Ondo fit into all this? Ondo is the platform that is like a bridge between the world of traditional finance, BlackRock, and Securitize with blockchain. They launched a token called OUSG, which is a token that is backed by US Treasuries, backed by BlackRock's BUIDL fund, and allows for the expansion of the BUIDL fund on many other blockchain networks. They've spread to Aptos, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, Polygon. They continue to more deeply integrate the assets in the BUIDL fund with the OUSG token. And then, the proof is in the pudding. Since they launched in 2024, they've generated like hundreds of billions, I think now, over 100, but maybe hundreds of billions of on-chain tokenized real-world assets, everything from treasury bonds to, REITs, and they plan to do more and more and more. So Ondo is their sort of preferred on-chain partner. And Ondo is the token you buy if you're a crypto native and you want to speculate on that. If you're an investor with BlackRock and you're a TradFi guy, go buy shares of the BUIDL fund. And if you want to get both, you can buy BUIDL fund and Ondo tokens to kind of speculate on that future. Way over time, but take me, Alex. I didn't mean for it to come out like that.
Flip
but,
it. Flip it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to clip that.
Thanks. No, I was just thinking about the RWA narrative because it's personally like one of my favorites, but it also has some of the biggest hurdles
Totally.
to true adoption. So, remember, in crypto especially, it is important to remember, but in all things in life, two things can be true at once. So the real world assets narrative, like if I was to break it down as simply as I can, why are people excited about it? One of the reasons that people like crypto is because these things have very volatile prices and they can increase in value very rapidly. And so people have been able to invest smaller amounts, assume higher risk, and reap higher and bigger rewards. because of the nature of that volatility. So people enjoy that. That attracts lots of people to the space to try to invest and to get rich quickly, and all that sort of stuff. Whether that's fair to say or a smart move or not is beside the point. That's what brings a lot of people in. Real world assets, and in here we're talking about things like gold, jewelry, luxury designer goods, clothing, real estate, property, materials, other types of investments. It really doesn't matter. All sorts of things that can have value attributed to them can be tokenized, and I'll hit that in a second, and brought on chain. And the thinking is that those things which are inherently valuable will bring additional value to the network that tokenizes them, that hosts them, and that will increase the price and the value of the native currency on whatever lucky network that happens to be, whether it's Solana, whether it's Ethereum, whether it's Matic, whether it's something else, along with all of this added value. So imagine, for example, there's a blockchain that's worth, $100 billion, and its token price is $1,000. I'm just making numbers up. And gold is worth everything that gold is worth. It's a 10 or 12 trillion dollar, total market cap asset, commodity, whatever. If all that gold came on chain, the thinking is that value would come with it. And then people would be buying and selling gold at that elevated price on chain, and that would translate to higher token prices. So that's why RWA is exciting in a nutshell. There are lots of hurdles, though. There's lots of things that this narrative is going to have to contend with. For example, there's not a lot of legal or regulatory clarity around different companies conducting business with blockchains. And so if you look at including or combining heavily regulated and very rule-laden markets and asset classes like real estate and property and precious metals and all these other things, and just try to slap them into blockchain, there's very real concerns that all of those regulations will clash with the either lack of or conflicting regulations in the crypto space, and they simply won't be allowed to play together the way that people think they could. So that is one of the things holding the RWA narrative back. And that is one of the reasons that people are excited about a crypto-friendly government who will either just get out of the way or clean up that regulatory hellscape of rules there, so that people can experiment or do stuff or bring more things on chain, all these sorts of things.
Very well said.
Yeah. And Mike, it is funny when you say it like that. Mike says, quote, "There's not a lot of regulatory clarity around companies doing business with databases," end quote. Sounds weird. And that is fair to say. And that is one of the reasons that it's silly that this is the world we live in. But this is the world we live in. And, so, take it for what it's worth. It's silly. That's how it is. The company that we were just sponsored by, that we haven't posted videos for yet, but we are working on, and we're kind of in the revision round right now. So for anyone curious about how that process works, tiny little inside peek behind the curtain. They gave us some suggestions. We basically told them, and we're talking about Movement here, Movement Labs.
I thought I was gonna say, surprise, it's Trump coin.
Oh, no.
Or something like it's
surprise.
Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu.
It's the guy who tiled Doug's bathroom. And what we're doing here is, so they sent us, a list of inspirations for the videos, and we were like, I appreciate it, thank you so much, but we're actually just going to make whatever we want. And they're like, okay. And so then we wrote up our own video outlines and scripts and plans and whatever, and what we want to do, and we sent it over to them to see if they wanted to add anything or had any insights or whatever. So that's where we're at right now. But one of the things that I discovered in my note-taking as I'm reading to do this video is about the language Move specifically, which is a programming language that's essentially been built for blockchain. And my question for my father was, Dad, is this bullshit? And the good news is it's not bullshit, which is pretty cool. And he had lots of insights about it, which was really interesting. Most of it went over my head, but I think I actually get it quite a bit. And so I'm excited to talk about that more. But one of the big implications that we came away with was RWA, and this narrative of real world assets potentially being way easier to to use with a language like Move. And if there's any engineers, Mike, I'm looking at you. In answer to Mike's question, when is my dad coming on the show? The last time I asked him, he's like, and I was like, or I could just ask you questions off the air and then read them to the people. And he's like, yes, that's
My
much
dad can be
better.
like your dad.
Well, we'll keep working on him.
So don't hold your breath. But to wrap it up, and then we'll get to Doug here, because Doug, you could probably hear me floundering talking about shorts earlier. So I'm glad that you're here to save the day.
Or
No, basically in a
circus
nutshell, the Move language, it reduces the amount of code that you need to write to do blockchain related things. And the less code there is, the less margin for error there is, and the tighter the security can be with these on-chain applications. And so that's very exciting, especially because that is going to be one of the chief concerns amongst anyone who is looking to tokenize other things and try to strengthen the relationship between cryptocurrencies and things in the real world. So that's pretty exciting. I have lots of notes about it, but I'm not emotionally ready or spiritually ready to teach you guys about all that right now. So put a pin in it.
I have lots of questions on that, by the way. Hold on, wait. Did you say it's a new programming language? I don't want to go the path that far. Did you say it's a new language or no?
This is a new language called Move. It's not new.
But the Move token.
Yes.
The Move token is representative of the actual coding language itself. but
Movement
also the project
Labs.
itself. No.
No.
It's kind of.
So
kind
hold on. Sorry. Context. Movement Labs is a company building an Ethereum layer 2 in a sea of Ethereum layer
Using
2.
the Move language.
Their value prop is that they're using the Move language and the Move virtual machine. Put a pin in virtual machine. We can explain that in a second. And for context too, they're competing with Sui, who also uses Move, and Aptos, who also uses Move. Each of those, so Move is an open source language. Anyone can do it. And Sui has kind of their own adaptation of it. I think they literally call it Sui Move, and I don't know if Aptos did any major alterations to it or anything like that. But it's open source. You can take it and use it and adapt it kind of however you want. So Movement is using Move, which is a language that was built by the Libra DM, not the meme coin from Argentina Libra, the original Facebook Libra blockchain project that was shut down a couple years ago. But the language is the only thing that survived from that Facebook crypto exploration. So
But you like clarity. I now have a question for them. Not that we get is like, did the using the word move or the language help contribute to any the naming of the entity itself? Was there any part of that, or just it's more of a coincidence?
No,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
intentional.
It is?
It's 100% intentional.
Okay.
They are betting
Okay.
everything on that. That's like their
Got it.
secret sauce. That's their story.
Got
And
it.
speaking of stories, he's our man on the street in the bathroom, joining us today. For
maybe
everybody
the
on,
toilet, we don't know.
Tiles
maybe-
are like,
yeah, somebody said he's using toilet time to work. Smart man.
Uh-huh.
For everybody who can't see him, it's our good
Yes.
friend Doug. Welcome back to the show, Doug. So good to see you.
They
Thank you for
have
being
drip in
here.
the tile guy. Like, these are just, they're not real. They're just, it's whatever. Anyway, so the quick story I have to share. I was just finishing my stream. I wanted to go off early and I kept going down my rants on why I'm bearish right now. And I spilled an entire, easily 16-ounce glass of water all over my MacBook.
Oh no!
So right now we are upside down, drying. Hopefully that will resolve itself. And I think I may. This is a lesson I'm sharing with everyone. I created a new MetaMask wallet to use for Hyperliquid, and I'm doing very, very, very well with shorts that are there right now. But I
Sweet.
broke the rule of not putting the keys somewhere. I didn't because I have. Yeah. By the way, I need to talk about that. I have probably over 100 different seed phrases all over piece of paper, whiteboards, things like that. I
Oh,
didn't put it somewhere. So at the moment, unless this hopefully will be good, I will be able to access that wallet. So my message to everyone out there, regardless if you're in a rush of setting up new wallets, I've done it 100 times properly. Make sure you write down that seed phrase and put it somewhere that's safe, just in case if something like this happens, because I won't be able to access that wallet if I can't get back on the computer. So good times, but we'll see what's going on. So yeah.
Doug, can you give us
I'm so
before you flush and run away? Can you give us some perspective on longs and shorts, and also give us a resource, because Alex and I were out of our depth. We really don't spend much time looking at longs and shorts. We were looking at CoinGlass. that had a dashboard that seemed to aggregate information about longs and shorts. Somebody asked, how do I see how many, derivatives orders are open on the Ethereum network right now? That was their question. And I was like,
don't have an answer to that question, unfortunately.
that makes me feel a lot better.
I used to look at it years ago, but a lot of those metrics, and not saying they're not good, it's just that there's only so much I can consume on just trying to say like, hey, these are the things that are giving me guidance from a macro level. And at the time when I was going down that path, it didn't seem to help me out. It was more of a giving me reasons to maybe change my bias. There's also a thing too with a lot of different indicators and people you follow is that if you have a bias towards something, it's almost like, are you looking for something for confirmation bias, but also to something that's going to tell you maybe it's not the right way of thinking. So I kind of limit the amount of things that I use for that just because it may give me one direction that's not the direction my head's at right now. So I don't answer that question.
Got it. That's fair. You said you're bearish.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us more.
I'm bearish on stock. So crypto's don't think, but crypto aside, I can't be bullish on stocks. Can't be bullish on traditional finance right now. For multiple reasons. Uncertainty. That's it. Number one word. It's been the same theme for weeks now. I don't need a chart to tell me that. It is just uncertainty. There's uncertainty from the business enterprise side of the equation, uncertainty from a consumer standpoint on what's going to be impact of my life of things that are there. And that's it. So for myself, firsthand knowledge in my company, we are actively trying to build scenarios on what tariff is going to come into play or not for the last 3 weeks, because we import goods all over the world. And we've been talking about that, not focus on doing business and trying to drive growth. And so until that's finalized, we're just going to be stifling any forward momentum that we had because we're trying to basically make sure we're predicting what's going to happen or have a scenario plan for what may happen. And this is regardless of the tariffs themselves. Forget about the thoughts on the, hey, you're in favor or not of the tariffs. It's just the uncertainty of what the tariffs are going to end up being. What's the number? Sure. What country? That's the uncertainty part. And there's only, in my opinion, so much the market can hold without knowing that, because it's not just my company is going through that. It's every other company, and some that are getting more impacted than others. That's one of the reasons why overall.
It's a good take from the macro picture. And I think what people forget is that crypto is very much inside the society that we all live in. It is also affected by the uncertainty that plagues everybody everywhere right now. So do you have a final thought, good joke, word of wisdom, plug for the audience, and anything else to share? Criticisms, complaints, predictions for the future, favorite nail polish colors? I don't know, man. What do you got for us before?
I try, my girlfriend lets me, I like painting her nails, try to, because I'm very just I want to be like an artist, or used to be, but my hand shakes too much. So I want too much of a perfectionist to do it. I just drive myself crazy. So we don't do that anymore. Favorite color, I don't know. It's actually tough. Flavor of the week, orange is usually my favorite color in general. But yeah, I don't have a take. I was coming here to say hello and tell you my story. But I just overall, I would say right now is not a time to be aggressive with anything as it relates to investments. If you have capital on the side, just stick it in. I was probably yesterday, USDC. Just find a stable coin that gives you a nice yield. But there's no reason right now to be aggressive one way or the other. I think a cautious, position, which is a good position, also too. Not being in a position, I've said this before. Not being in a position is a position, and that's okay. So right now it's a time. Wait for more clarity on where markets go. But right now I'm more leaning towards bearish. But there's no reason to get aggressive. You're not going to miss things taking off. The only market that somewhat I could say is attractive is Litecoin. That's it. It's insanely.
We've heard about the Litecoin bulls this morning.
But it's right now. It's at the top of its range. So I would hold off on jumping in. I really want to see it jump up above 145, 150, and then pull back. Yesterday was the area for the entering along. But besides that, there's nothing that jumps out at me as I'm hey, this is something entertaining for a buy. That's all.
Okay. Somebody said, Doug, if it doesn't work, try to take out the hard drive and get the information off it that way. We are hoping and praying.
This is it's like the M1, the first MacBook, it's pretty sure it's soldered.
Good luck.
The actual motherboard itself. Yeah, I don't think you can do that.
I would definitely still at least take it to the Apple Store.
Oh yeah. I love taking things apart too, but I probably won't mess around taking this one apart. That's something I bring to the Apple Store. So
Yeah, and they'll be
they-
like, "What do
they
you
built those-
need on this, sir? Is there a piece of information?" And you'll be like,
I need 12 words. I need 12
Yeah, I need
words.
12 words. It's
No,
my grandmother's cookie recipe."
It's my nudes.
You can't see those 12 words. Just they're random.
Oh my gosh. Well, Doug, thank you so much for hanging out, stopping by. You going to be back to your stream today or tomorrow?
Well, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow, regardless of the Mac issue. So 7:30 Eastern AM tomorrow, I'll be back on stream. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man on the street in the bathroom running away. You might say he's got the runs. It's our friend Doug.
I need to get this. I need to move. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much,
Okay.
brother. It's good to see you
Have a great
always.
day.
Oh, man. Talk about an unfortunate accident when you got the laptop and you drop it. You know what I'm talking about? Man. Praying for Doug. Thoughts
Yeah,
and prayers.
I vividly remember when I was stationed on the ship, and when you sleep in a shipboard barracks, the little bunk rooms where all of us live, share this room with 21 other men, and you get stacked on shelves, so like, and you have about this much room, like you can't turn over. So like from the top of your mattress to the top of your bunk is this much. So if you get in laying on your back and you want to switch and sleep on your stomach, you have to wiggle out and then wiggle back in. It's very much like being a cave diver, but to sleep. And the true status symbol is when you finally have been on the boat long enough that you get a top bunk because you have enough room that you can sit up in it. But you're quite high in the air, so you have to climb a little ladder to get up there. It's way up there, and the ship is of course rocking quite often. So I was laying up there watching a movie, and ship hit a pretty big roller, and my laptop just right off, right out the curtain, and I just heard it slam onto the ground, and I just sat there for like a whole minute. A whole minute, and somehow by just the grace of sweet baby Jesus, that laptop survived with
Wow.
nary a scratch, but it was a moment of terror for sure.
Oh my God. We have a couple of really good questions here. And this is a reminder that if you have a question, we are a little more than halfway through the show. So this is the place for your Web3 101 questions, especially if you're new to crypto, you're worried you're going to ask a dumb question. Look, there's no such thing as dumb questions here. We have a lot of fun. We would love to hear your question because somebody else probably has the same one. So leave it below, write it on the back of a $100 bill and send it to my address or Alex's, or drop it in the Discord server, discord.gg/riseup. You can find that link and so many more at theriseupmorningshow.com. Do you foresee paper bonds going digital on a blockchain? What would that conversion look like? Would it be a token? And then someone else asked, basically, is Solana cooked? So Alex, what would that conversion process look like? And would it happen? Because I kind of assume the answer, yes. I think eventually paper bonds will be tokenized.
Yeah, this is a $1 million question. So I think one way to think about it would be to remember what it was like paper trading or phone trading gold. I don't know, however many decades ago, this was like a thing where, somebody would approve the transaction. It would get approved and signed by the necessary people. Things would get confirmed. All the middle people would agree. And then some guy at Fort Knox would physically pick up a gold bar or gold bullion or some gold and move it from one shelf to another to denote the fact that it had now changed ownership, but was still being stored there. And I feel like, it kind of in the same vein of conversation as we talk about, RWA in general. That's the weak link. The weak link is that we rely on people to keep the physical item tied to the token, whether we're talking about, another financial vehicle like a bond or some other kind of a note, or we're talking about a gold bar, or we're talking about a pair of luxury designer shoes or something like that. It is true to say that you could create a token at the point of manufacture for that luxury shoe, right? And when you sell the shoe, you also transfer ownership of that token to the person who bought the shoe. But then we rely on that mattering enough for everyone who owns the token and the shoe from now on to keep them together. Because theoretically, I could mint the token, and I could even chip the shoe with an NFC tag, a near field communications tag, which is like a little thing. They're in like the tap to pay cards and
make sure Arculus work.
Yeah. Anytime you've ever done tap to pay, you're using NFC, near field communication. So you could put one of those chips in the shoe, and whenever someone scans it with their phone, the token ID could pop up. Like all these things could be true, but I could still just give Evan the shoe and him be like, nah, I don't give a shit about that token. You keep it. I don't care. I don't have a wallet. I don't want to make one, whatever. And hopefully what would happen then is that Evan would decide, like, I'd like to sell this shoe. And somebody like, oh, cool. These are tokenized. Do you have the token for it? And he'd be like, no. And they're like, well, I don't know it's real. I don't trust it. So no, thank you. I'll wait for someone who has the token. That would be what we're hoping for.
Well,
So
and
I think that
go ahead.
I just think when it comes to anything physical or anything non-token that we are trying to tokenize, as we think about tokenizing stock positions or tokenizing important paperwork like house deeds or car titles and all these sorts of things, yes, it's true that we can tokenize these things and we can create the token equivalent and put it on chain and track it and keep, and all of that sort of stuff. But people are still involved, and that in and of itself is slightly defeating of the whole trustless idea. That's the biggest hurdle with RWA.
And
I see the same thing with bonds.
So Brian Gertz got a point in the chat for saying, is this basically what VeChain does? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
They're trying to crack this nut. A lot of people are trying to crack this nut. And I just wanted to take it a step further by saying there are some things that are physical that will inherit good properties from getting paired with the token. But I think eventually, Alex, like bonds, I think those will mostly be digital. Because like they start as digital. Like the US Treasury doesn't have a printer that some old guy runs to crank out physical paper bonds. No. What happens is they are created on a ledger on a computer somewhere. And then if paper bonds exist, they represent the digital thing. So with inherently digital stuff, it makes sense to just tokenize them first and then cut out the middleman of the paper bond or a paper stock or a paper deed or whatever paper thing we're using, a receipt to prove that you own or purchased or are what we say, a driver's license, a social security card. All of those things are bad proxies for tokens because tokens can't be forged. Tokens won't degrade over time. Tokens can't be stolen from your wallet. So natively digital stuff like that, it makes sense that it will probably be tokenized sooner because it's easier.
There was a question about require more of an explanation as to why would anyone ever tokenize a shoe. It's a great question.
It is a great question.
There's a ton of different kinds of shoes, right? There are the cheap ones that you can buy at your Kroger Marketplace or whatever for $15, but then there's also very expensive designer shoes made by famous designers and whatever, things that get counterfeited. Really, the single biggest reason that you would tokenize something like that is to prevent or to protect against counterfeiting. You okay?
Yeah, remind me to tell you about the tokenized shoe joke in a second.
Okay.
I'm brilliant. Or at least that idea was. If the answer is if Cinderella's shoes were tokenized, that story would have been over on page 2, man. Bad joke. Sorry. Tell us why. Tell me why.
I could have guessed for a million years what you were going to say, and it would never have been Cinderella should have put that shit on chain.
Prince would have been like, forget putting shoes on these stinky women. I'm going to the Blockchain Explorer. I want to do a version of Cinderella where you're the prince and somebody is making you put shoes on women's feet for like
I agree with David. That's the nerdiest shit I've ever heard. And I do this for a living with you every day.
Three people in the world find that funny. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, 2 of them are on screen right now, and the other one is. All right, so
dead, yeah.
The other one might be dead. We don't know. Okay, so why would you tokenize a shoe? Son of a bitch. It's just to protect against counterfeiting. It's the same reason you might want to tokenize a famous designer who does a sprint run of limited edition garments or something like that they want to make sure, are known to be the only ones, even if someone else, steals the graphic and prints it on their own shirt or whatever. So exactly that. You're proving authenticity of more things in a better, more secure way. Because like I said, is this it? No.
You can pretend it is.
I could, but why when I have the like I have this is a certificate of authenticity for a painting that I bought. And it's just on paper. I could probably find paper that looked pretty similar to this and photocopy it and cut it down to size and make it look pretty official. And I mean, this one, it's not protecting the Mona Lisa, so it's not like the world's most, it's not. I don't even think it's not even watermarked. So this is easy to fake. The token is impossible to fake. No matter what you do, you cannot recreate the exact same token ID with the exact same on-chain information to fake it. Even if you make one that looks exactly like the first token, it will always be different when you look at it on-chain. So that's really the point of tokenizing anything in the real world. It's just to protect people from being able to copy it more effectively. And that is really only valuable with things that people have a desire to copy.
Yeah, and it could be a counterfeit prevention too. Like somebody in the comment, David mentions, well, most common objects have no need to be tokenized then. And I would say it depends on who you are. Because if I'm Walmart, I have a vested, you might not need your spoon in your silverware drawer to be tokenized. But if I'm Walmart, I have a vested interest in tokenizing every spoon that comes through my supply chain. Tokens are cheap. They're cheaper than paper receipts. They're easier than paper receipts to attach to a thing once you figure it out. And I want to know if I have a problem with, say, shoplifting. I want to know where that spoon went or at what point it became divorced from the thing that pairs it to a token so that I can prevent further loss and save more money. So it may not be important to you to have a token for that spoon, but it's probably important for Walmart. Or it may not be important for you to have a token for your McDonald's hamburger patty, but it's important to McDonald's to know if there's an E. coli outbreak, where that beef came from with certainty.
In a more secure way with a lower margin of error for making a mistake tracking to issue a recall. So it's more efficient to track this way. Two really good follow-up points that came out of that are coming from this. Wow, hang on. Where did it go?
Take your time.
Okay. Couldn't the token say that a fake thing is real? And then also, how are these things not able to be stolen? I feel like anything digital is vulnerable. Okay.
Whew, such a good question.
Both of these things are true. So first of all, let's just get out of the way that absolutely no system ever created by people that has ever existed is 100% foolproof. Not a single one, including blockchain and tokens and whatever. We are just making steps in the evolutionary path to better security and more, efficient systems and all these things. So it's true. These things can be stolen. Evan can buy the fancy pair of designer shoes that comes with a token, and he can misplace his seed phrase or leak it to someone on accident, or someone could, steal it from his safe
Social
or whatever.
engineer me, yeah.
They could scam him in some capacity, get access to his wallet and transfer that token out and steal it the same way that they would steal crypto from anybody else or steal money from your bank account or whatever. It is extremely possible for it to be stolen. The other thing that was asked is, can a token be used to mark something fake and call it real? 100%. And that's the biggest weakness in all of this, is that things that we would like to protect with a token that have already existed are much harder to tokenize.
Yeah.
It is 1,000 times easier to tokenize something that's new that can be created alongside the token so that at the same time, both of things come into existence. It's not to say that you can't protect something that already exists with a token. It's just that you have to work a little bit harder. So let's say that Evan was a painter and he had painted 100 different things and he's still actively painting. He could start tokenizing new paintings that no one's ever seen before and release the painting and the token at the same time in digital form, physical form, whatever. And it would be 100 times more secure than if he then went back in time and tried to take pictures of his old paintings and tokenize those, because someone could have beaten him to the punch. Someone could have taken that picture that he posted on Instagram and tokenized it and shown
Yeah.
on paper the timestamp to this NFT that they made was done weeks before Evan just released the real one. And so then there would be an on-chain record of someone being first. And in that case, the claim for the token's realness would lie in, do we trust that Evan is doing the real thing or not? Can he prove that it's part of some bigger collection or whatever? It's not impossible, but it becomes harder. So, again, it is not foolproof. Wallets can be hacked. Blockchains suffer exploits and hacks. Nothing is 100% foolproof. It's just better than not having the option.
And I would say it's better than alternative options that exist, like patents, which are controlled by like the U.S. Department of whatever. Some little old guy named Larry's got to look at it, and hopefully he's in a good mood that day and he approves it.
Larry could fuck it up.
He could fuck it up, and he could put it in the wrong file. And instead of that, what if we were interacting with a computer like a calculator that was designed to do this function, that just did it automatically, errorlessly every time according to the functions of its programming? That would be better. And computers who do that will probably outcompete humans like Larry in any industry where we rely on an intermediary, and that is an elected or appointed official, to do a job that they might lie or steal or cheat or just get tired doing. You know what I mean? Like, that's a flaw, and we can improve upon it and distribute the power at the center of those systems to the people at the edges. And I just want to touch on one last thing, because David is asking such good questions about this. I absolutely love it. So many people are, which is why would you want to tokenize anything at all other than money? Aside from the reasons Alex has given you, I think tokens will become a new medium like language. And you should ask yourself the same question about language. Why would I want to give a word to an idea? That's an idea that, like, it sounds like a stupid question for me to ask, but at one time when language was new, there were people who said, why would I take the time to understand and learn some sort of common symbol? It limits my ability to express myself, and nobody else knows language yet. But now we have an evolving and infinite tool that we can use language to give a form, a tangible form to ideas like river. You know what I mean? When I say river, it's like throwing a dart with precision. You know exactly what I mean. For the most part, I might have to say a big river in the Southwest United States called the Rio Grande. I might need to use more words to make the meaning more specific and precise. But because the medium exists, we can make meaning faster, more efficiently. We can trust each other quicker. We can coordinate to do more together. And tokens are like that. Because tokens exist, we can communicate about things, not just money, but value. We can give a tangible form to intangible things that matter. Most of the value in the world is not tangible. It exists in ideas. And it's certainly not fungible. It's unique. Like that time I went to the concert, or my grandma's story about when she met Elvis, or something like that I would want to have a package for, that could not deteriorate, that could not be altered, that would not be destroyed. That would be tremendously valuable. Pieces of my identity, whether that's my birthday, my driver's license, or, just the fact that I did a show today with Alex. All kinds of things, and most of which we haven't even thought of yet, will be tokenized the same way things have been written or spoken or otherwise captured with language. I hope that helps. That's my hill I will die on, is like, maybe not everything, but many things, and more than we could possibly realize now. So Alex, we're almost at that time where we got to do final thoughts. It's about 8:20 my time, which means it's 9:20 your time. I would love to get a final thought, good joke, word of wisdom from you before we take our horses and ponies into the sunset. I do see one that's interesting here, which is Satoshi Jack Dorsey? Have you seen those rumors on X lately? People sleuthing about it.
Conspiracy theory.
That is the current conspiracy theory. I recently changed my mind about why it might matter knowing who Satoshi is and why it might be important. And I feel like I talked about it on the show before, but there was an article that posited a bunch of different scenarios for if Satoshi is, dead, if Satoshi is alive, but anonymous, if Satoshi is a group. I'll try and find it and post it in the chat, because like I said, it was fascinating. I used to think it didn't matter and we should never know, but now I kind of think like, oh, no, I hope we find out. I'm on the fence.
Really?
Yeah.
I might be able to be convinced, but I'm still pretty firmly in the camp that we probably should never know.
Yeah, I think my feet are still there, but I am interested for the possibility. We don't have time to get into it, and I don't have the words to articulate it. The article does a better job. What do you see?
The point about the Jack Dorsey thing is that I've seen some of it. I've read into some of it. It seems like a lot of the claims are that he was a nerd at the appropriate time and he was in California at the same time. So, sure, I guess it's theoretically possible if our criteria for being Satoshi are that you were a nerd in California.
I guess so.
I guess do with it what you will. Every couple months, someone else is posited as being definitely Satoshi, and then it falls apart. So,
interesting thought here. Can't be a reserve if we don't know who owns most of it. And I would just say, I think it matters who owns and uses it and values it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fun debate, to be honest. Satoshi's wallet, what it means, what the implications are. What happens if it ever moves. Would it be good, bad? Are they dead? How many people are there? All these sorts of things. It's interesting to speculate. But so I have two last points that I can wrap up as final thoughts here. So one was just a final question. And if you'd like to kind of learn more about the whole NFT thing, why it matters, why some of them don't matter, what the point is, how they've been abused, misused, how they should be used, all these sorts of things. We should honestly have an entire forum post in the Discord that's all just about like NFT stuff. I
don't want to type it. I got to write. We got to write the book. Yeah, we got to write the book.
It's a book for sure. But anyway, suffice it to say, so the final question was, how can you tell a fake NFT versus a real NFT? Which is a great question.
Such a good question.
So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay, hang on. Here I come.
So there are lots of different marketplaces and things that you can use to look at NFTs to see what they might be attached to. The vast majority of these things are attached to pictures, and so here is a famous collection called Doodles. These are all NFTs. Well, we're looking at the JPEGs right now, but they have NFTs attached to them, so let's just pick a random one here. Okay, so there are a couple of different points right off of this profile page that you can use to do your own kind of sleuthing. So first of all, and all, not all of these are the same degree of secure. So for the person who just said NFTs are never happening, stop scamming people, I encourage you to pull your foot out of your mouth and listen for 5 minutes. So basically what you can do here is you can look at Doodles, and they've got, a verified page on OpenSea. So, they don't just give these to anyone, but this is still a person check. Could easily be bullshit. So we want something a little bit better. So let's come down here, and underneath the JPEG, we can see some details. And in here, in the exact same way that you would be able to tell whether a cryptocurrency with a ticker, Pepe, was the original one, or if it was someone else who had just made their own Pepe, you're looking for this thing called a contract address, which is just a big old string of letters and numbers. And they also happen to be links that will take you to the blockchain explorer. And so here's our old friend Etherscan, where you can look at the contract address for this token. And it shows you here that, it's been named. It is a token from this collection. It was created by this contract creator, who has also been identified as the Doodles deployer wallet. Here is the transaction hash, which is the serial number that marks the transaction that minted this token originally. So you can go see that exact thing, exactly when it happened. So you could go cross-check the timestamps here to see whether this confirms or whether this tracks with the time that Doodles was created.
Each of these pieces of verifiable information makes this increasingly difficult to fake.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, here we're looking at a total of 96,326 transactions. This is every time someone has bought or sold a Doodles NFT. And you can see the transaction hash again. Each one of these transactions has a unique identifier that you can click on to look at specifically. They have exactly what it was. So this was just a transfer. You know, here was some other sort of approval. Here was another transfer. Here was a. It looks like pretty much all of these are just transfers. You know, here's the address. Who was it sent from? You know, in which block was this transaction confirmed? What was the fee that was paid? All of these things, all of this information. This is how you can tell whether it's fake. Because I could, if we go back over here to OpenSea, I could right click. It doesn't show you my little menu. Okay, well, I right clicked and I have, you know, save image as, right? So I could download this JPEG and I could do that for all of them. And I could, using OpenSea, I could mint my own collection. I could call it Doodles. I could number the title of each picture the exact same number. Here I could name this one 2648, Doodles 2648, and I could list it for sale. Several things would be true. I would not have this verified Doodles link on the profile, you know, but maybe you don't notice that this little blue check mark's not there and I still named my page Doodles. And at this point, I would like to think that OpenSea would be pretty good about finding these and shutting them down, but you never know. That's but right. What I could absolutely not even ever come anywhere close to faking is this. I cannot duplicate this contract address right here. And I cannot host a link on the page to this place on chain to confirm that this is the number that, you know, was sent in this transaction between these two people or whoever, these two wallets, to create this thing. So I can absolutely fake it, but I can't fake this. As with all NFTs, the JPEG does not matter. You know, it's a way that you can look at it and visualize it. People use them to be entertained or to, you know, trade like collectible trading cards or whatever. You know, some of them are cool, some of them are not. Some people care about some of them, some people don't care about other ones. You know, really the whole purpose of an NFT is just to protect something digital and make it provably unique. And it is very possible to prove that a piece of shit is unique. And in that case, it's just a unique piece of garbage that nobody cares about. But when it is something that people care about, and lots of people care about this collection, having it be an NFT makes it more secure. And that's kind of the point.
And if you wanted to experiment with this, maybe you wanted to create an NFT for something you own, for something you treasure, you can go to OpenSea.io. You can create an account. And you can start tokenizing things pretty cheap, pretty quickly. They've got really good tutorials. You don't need to be a developer or a coder. Making something an NFT doesn't make it valuable, like Alex said. And yep. I would recommend that if you've never used cryptocurrency before, you spend some time on Alex's profile or my page, maybe the Learn to Use Crypto playlist, and learn first how to use crypto, how to send, receive, swap, store it securely, turn it back into cash, because you're going to need to use a little bit of cryptocurrency probably at some point in your NFT journey. Though on OpenSea, I believe you can do everything with credit cards and buttons. So check it out, OpenSea.io. And that's my final thought. Alex, are you well met?
Almost. I promised. I mentioned something. Oh, I said two thoughts.
You did say two. I thought that was.
I did say two.
I wasn't counting.
So, but for that, I'm going to rug you. I'm going to give three.
Oh, okay, go for it.
So there was some questions earlier in the live stream just about bots being used to manipulate markets and trading. I will find some screenshots, and I have a number of old videos that like point out bot manipulated trading on meme coins. I will link those in Discord so you guys can see what that looks like. They are getting more sophisticated. They used to not count on anyone looking up to see if they were happening, but you used to be able to tell by like looking at a list of transactions buying a token, and they were like 1,000 transactions in a row, all for the exact same amount, all from different wallets. Those are being botted to like increase the holder count and increase the volume artificially. So that is all still happening. Meme coins are extremely heavily manipulated. It's all a game. It's all rigged against you. If anything from the last week has been truly exposed, it's that there's like 30 people that are just, habitually extracting every penny that they can from everybody. There are also trading bots that manipulate bigger cryptocurrencies, but it's harder the bigger the cryptocurrency is. The little meme coins with tiny, tiny little market caps are very easy to manipulate because they're so small and almost nobody has them. So it takes a lot less money to push a chart. If 10,000 people all went and bought $1 worth of XRP, it wouldn't even be noticeable. But if 10,000 people buy $1 of some brand new meme coin, it's going to explode because there's that's all the volume, right? But XRP has billions of trading volume, every week. So a $10,000 over the course of an hour means nothing. And then the last thing I'll say, just because I saw a comment about it, these are our only 2 profiles. We will never, ever, ever DM you. We will never follow you back. We will never try to lure you to WhatsApp or Telegram. If you've received a DM from someone who looks like us on TikTok, on Twitter, on Discord, it is not us. We will only speak to you in public places, in public forums. And if you want to get our attention, tag us in the general chat or leave us a comment on a video. Don't even waste your time with DMs. They are a hellscape. Just between the time that I went to bed last night and the time that I woke up to open my phone for the show, I had 140 new DM requests on TikTok by itself. It's just impossible to get through. Most of them are garbage. If you're trying to get a hold of me or Evan, leave a comment or find us in Discord and just ignore every DM that comes through your inbox that looks like it's from one of us. No matter what they're asking or what they're saying, it's not us. It's a scam, and they can't hurt you unless you give them your information. So just ignore them and block them.
That's exactly right. And on that note, come back tonight because, like Tori said, we get to see Will tonight. Ooh. He is going to be back. To which I say, we can't wait to see you. Join us at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are going to be live with our friend Genia Mikolchenko. He is head of business development over at Pith Network. He has a lot of experience in the crypto industry and the stories to go along with it. We met him at a conference and absolutely just loved the way he talked and related and moved about the space and said, oh, Alex, it was like this guy would be perfect for After Dark. And I was inclined to agree. It's going to be a great time. Bring your questions, bring your altcoin picks, the websites you want us to take a look at, and we will assign them grades, do our best to let you know if we think they're worth a closer look. And then we'll be back tomorrow to close out the week. That's it, my friends. We got to go. Check out the Discord, check out the website, and come back tomorrow or tonight. Until then, everybody, stay safe,